Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We are on day 7 and we're still breaking down the AFC East. Today we look at the New York Jets. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our team previews, and go ahead and smash that like button while you're at it. We are just about a month away from the NFL season. Before we get into the Jets preview, just a reminder, we are giving away $1,000 in our NFL contest at grandstandbettors.com. The link is below in the description. We also have a $100 referral bonus to the person who refers the most people to join that contest. While you're over there at grandstandbettors.com, become part of our family and start living that grandstand life. So without further ado, let's dive in to the New York Jets season preview. And to do so, we need to take a look back at their 2020 campaign first. They were bad. Not as bad as the Jaguars, but pretty close. They ended up 2-14 on the season. Listen, in all honesty, they did not do themselves any favors by beating Cleveland in Week 16 and missing out on Trevor Lawrence. Now, Zach Wilson is a versatile quarterback, no doubt, but is he a pocket passer? Maybe at BYU, but not in the NFL. Now, Kyler Murray is definitely received the same criticism coming into the league, so we'll see how this one goes, but in all honesty, we do not think he's going to be able to have as big of an impact on this organization as people think he is. Now, the Jets have failed to reach the playoffs since 2010, and that streak is most likely going to continue throughout the year. Looking back at last season, these Jets struggled everywhere across the board. Adam Gase was horrible, so kudos to finally cutting ties with him. He wasn't good at the Dolphins. He wasn't good at the Jets. Can somebody stop hiring Adam Gase? There was absolutely no run game last year. Sam Darnold was continually pressured due to a poor offensive line. Their defense gave up way too many points. The Jets really need a major turnaround if they want to get back on track. And starting by cutting ties with Gase and then cutting ties with Sam Darnold was a great way to start that process, and they were much more active in free agency this year than in years past. Their offense last season ranked dead last in almost everything, except their rushing yards came 23rd in the league. They were last in yards per game with 279, last in points per game with 15.2, and second to last in passing yards per game, only better than the Baltimore Ravens. But let's be honest, the only reason the Ravens were below them is because Lamar Jackson runs like a cheetah on the NFL field. Now, this was due to several reasons. Their bad offense, they had lingering injuries to their best wide receiver, Jamison Crowder. Their running backs really prohibited them from getting anything going constantly as an offensive unit. I mean, no offense to Frank Gore, but a good sign your offense is struggling is when a 38-year-old is your lead rusher on your team with just over 600 yards. Also, the Jets' interior offensive linemen were horrible last season. Darnold was pressured way too much, and the running backs rarely got chances to hit the gaps and turn loose on the field. Now, defensively, the Jets did not perform well either. They gave up the 9th most yards per game and the 7th most points. Their pass rush was very inconsistent throughout the season. Losing middle linebacker C.J. Mosley to a COVID opt-out didn't help anything, and their secondary was in absolute shambles. The position of quarterback was a definite need that the Jets front office needed to address in the offseason, but they really didn't do that. It's hard to prioritize. We get that when you need to fix everything. But this will really hurt them again this year if they can't keep opponents out of the end zone, especially if Wilson does have a good year. As we mentioned before, the Jets did a much better job in free agency. They were able to sign a few offensive and defensive players that should help them get at least 2 more wins this season. Wide receivers Corey Davis, Keeneland Cole, and tight end Tyler Croft were huge upgrades to their offense. They also signed running back Tevin Coleman from the 49ers, who should be the guy in the backfield in week number 1. All these additions should make immediate impacts to the offense that needed a lot of help. Now, defensively, CJ Mosley is returning at linebacker position, and they were able to get several edge rushers and defensive linemen that should do a better job rushing the quarterback and stopping the run this season. This is a good, very good starting point probably here for the Jets. They are a team that is rebuilding, and next season they should be able to focus on probably some more positional players and maybe strengthening their secondary. Now, they had 10 picks in their draft this year, and the Jets ended up picking 5 safeties or quarterbacks in a row. The only problem is the earliest one was in the 5th round. Who knows? Maybe they got lucky and one of these guys will be a strong presence in their secondary this year, but at the moment, there's nobody really to highlight out of those 5 picks. The picks we do want to highlight are their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th picks in the draft. The Jets got a huge boost to their offensive line with their 2nd pick by drafting USC guard Elijah Vera Tucker. Their 3rd pick was Elijah Moore from Ole Miss, who's going to be a dynamic player that will surely challenge players from time on the field this year. And finally, their 4th pick is a very good running back in Michael Carter out of UNC. Not to be confused with Michael Carter II, who was picked later in the draft by the Jets, but Michael Carter out of UNC, excellent running back out of UNC, carrying the ball for over 1,000 yards in his last 2 seasons and averaging about 8 yards per carry last year. So he's going to be a great addition. We'll see how much playing time that he gets. If you want to look into the schedule for the Jets, it doesn't get any easier. They do have the 20th hardest schedule, so not the worst, but it's the wrong year to be playing in their division. They might be able to beat the Miami Dolphins at home or pull off an upset, but we really have them going 1-5 in the division. Realistically, the only other winnable games on their schedule is Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Houston, Philly, and Atlanta. Even if they won all of those games and managed to beat the Dolphins once, it puts them at 6 wins. The over-under for this team is at 6.5. With the way their team performed last season, considering they have a new quarterback and the first-year head coach, which historically rarely will translate into wins, the Jets are going to keep rebuilding this year. They did some good work in the offseason. They made some nice draft picks, but we can't see this team turning things around that quickly and managing to get 7 runs. I mean, 7 wins. 7 wins for this team is just going to be too hard. We're going under here, 6.5 for the Jets. Now, Jets fans, let me know, what do you think? Over, under, 6.5? Put it in the comments below. That's it for the New York Jets. We'll see you tomorrow. We have one more NFL team preview for the AFC East, and that is the Buffalo Bills. So sit back, relax, enjoy the preseason, enjoy the team previews, and we'll see you tomorrow.